Hey, welcome to this new video. Like and comment what video I should do next. Now let's get into it. Here's a full reimagining of Dragon Ball with a darker, more ruthless Goku who possesses Goku Black's powers and retains his Saiyan tail, progressing through iconic arcs. This version of Goku, driven by a darker ambition, fights for dominance rather than for the sake of others, which reshapes the entire narrative. Prologue: Arrival on Earth and dark beginnings. Sent to Earth as a child, Kakarot is discovered by Grandpa Gohan. However, unlike the Goku of the original timeline, Kakarot retains his Saiyan nature fully. Fierce, aggressive, and cold, he views combat as a path to absolute strength. When his Saiyan tail is exposed to the full moon, he transforms into the Great Ape, nearly killing Grandpa Gohan in a fit of rage before regaining control. The incident leaves Kakarot with a twisted respect for strength and violence, even as he learns basic human values from Gohan. While he does develop some humanity, Kakarot grows up hardened, with a clear resolve to become the strongest being. His aura has a dark, sinister energy, hinting at latent divine powers he has yet to fully understand. The hunt for the Dragon Balls. When Bulma finds Kakarot in the forest, he's intrigued by her talk of the Dragon Balls, not out of curiosity, but to see if the wish-granting power could be exploited. He agrees to join her journey, but his motives are selfish. As they encounter foes along the way, such as Emperor Pilaf and the Red Ribbon Army, Kakarot deals with them in a merciless fashion. Rather than showing restraint, he exhibits a tactical ruthlessness, sparing no one who threatens him or his goals. As they travel, Kakarot's combat skills grow, and he instinctively taps into his dark ki during tough battles, exuding an intimidating aura that terrifies opponents. His Saiyan tail remains a source of pride, and he begins to understand its connection to his heritage, solidifying his identity as a Saiyan warrior above all. The World Martial Arts Tournament and rivalries with Rashi's students. Kakarot's desire for combat glory leads him to the World Martial Arts Tournament, where he meets fighters like Krillin, Yamcha, and Master Rashi. However, rather than learning restraint or control under Rashi's tutelage, he clashes with the idea of holding back. Rashi's philosophy of fighting only to protect falls on deaf ears. Kakarot wants power for power's sake. During his matches, he exhibits a savage fighting style, surprising the crowd and his opponents with his brutal strikes and willingness to push limits. In the finals, he faces Jackie Chun, Master Rashi in disguise, who tries to impart wisdom and teach him humility. But Kakarot views it only as a lesson in finding even greater strength to crush any rival. The Red Ribbon Army arc. A ruthless conqueror emerges. The Red Ribbon Army becomes one of Kakarot's earliest true tests of strength. As he tears through their ranks, he shows no mercy. Rather than dismantling the organization for justice, he sees it as a way to train against increasingly strong foes. His fights with high-ranking soldiers are brutal, and he uses every tactic in his dark energy arsenal, sometimes displaying energy attacks that resemble Goku Black's dark, cutting beams and sharp ki blades. The encounter with Tao Pai Pai is significant. When Tao injures him, Kakarot's dark ki intensifies, driving him into a feral state where his power surges to terrifying levels. He defeats Tao with ease, his malevolent energy shocking even those who've grown accustomed to his fighting style. After decimating the Red Ribbon Army, he stands triumphant, viewing the battlefield with cold satisfaction. King Piccolo arc. A battle for supremacy. When King Piccolo appears, Kakarot sees him as both a rival and a challenge, not an evil to be vanquished. His motivation shifts from defending Earth to proving his superiority. Piccolo senses the dark nature within Kakarot and realizes they share a similar ruthlessness. Their battle is intense, with Kakarot embracing more of his primal energy. His dark aura radiates malevolence, and his blows feel heavier, deadlier, and entirely devoid of compassion. After a fierce struggle, Kakarot defeats King Piccolo but doesn't give the villain a chance to reform. He kills him without hesitation, seeing it as a lesson to all who would dare oppose him. Saiyan Saga. Confronting his heritage. When Raditz arrives, revealing Kakarot's Saiyan heritage, Kakarot finally has a name for the intense power he's craved. The arrival of Vegeta and Nappa further ignites his desire for dominance, as they're the first real challenge he's encountered in years. Seeing himself as the true embodiment of Scion strength, he views his fellow Scions with disdain, seeing them as rivals rather than kin. The battle against Nappa is brutal, with Kakarot using his Dark Ki to amplify his power. Against Vegeta, he unleashes his darkest techniques, pushing himself to the brink to prove his Scion superiority. He reaches Super Saiyan in a moment of pure rage and dominance, his aura flickering with a sinister edge as he annihilates Vegeta's great ape form. Namek Saga. Embracing the power of Super Saiyan arriving on Namek, Kakarot's main goal is to achieve a new level of power. When Frieza's elite soldiers stand in his way, he takes them down with ruthless efficiency. Each battle is an opportunity to improve his Super Saiyan form, which he shapes through intense training and combat with dark energy. The showdown with Frieza is ferocious. When Frieza kills his allies, Kakarot's rage triggers a darker version of Super Saiyan, a twisted golden form that's more aggressive and cold than its original. He taunts Frieza, reveling in his enemy's frustration, then ends the battle with a brutal assault, shattering Frieza's defenses. Android and Cell Saga. Pushing limits with dark power, Kakarot's encounter with the androids and Cell presents a new challenge that drives him to break his limits. He attains Super Saiyan 2 through brutal training, pushing his body to near collapse. In this form, he fights Cell with a merciless edge, using every ounce of his Dark Ki. Against Perfect Cell, Kakarot unleashes his fiercest techniques, nearly destroying the battlefield. His Super Saiyan 2 form exudes an aura tinged with malevolence, with his attacks cutting through Cell's defenses. The Cell games end with Kakarot victorious, though his methods leave his allies in fear of his growing ruthlessness. Majin Buu Saga. The ascension to Super Saiyan 3 and beyond. With the arrival of Majin Buu, Kakarot sees an opportunity to test himself against a nearly unkillable foe. He attains Super Saiyan 3, a form that pushes his limits further, making him a terror on the battlefield. In this state, he fights Buu relentlessly, using his dark energy to unleash powerful blasts that disintegrate parts of Buu's body. However, Kakarot realizes Super Saiyan 3 won't be enough. Driven by desperation, he delves into his primal instincts, transforming into Super Saiyan 4. Now in his primal form, Kakarot becomes almost unstoppable. His Saiyan blood and Dark Ki fuse in this state, and his ruthlessness is at an all-time high as he destroys Buu with sheer, overpowering force. The ultimate form. Super Saiyan 4 rose in pursuit of the highest power. Kakarot finally discovers a way to merge his divine energy with his Saiyan nature, ascending to Super Saiyan 4 Rose. His aura in this form is a dark, violent shade of pink, symbolizing the balance of divine Ki and primal Saiyan energy. Now in his most powerful form, he is the embodiment of a godly Saiyan, limitless in power and nearly unstoppable. With this transformation, Kakarot no longer sees Earth as his home. He considers himself beyond mortal affairs, setting his sights on conquering the entire multiverse. His aggression and desire for dominance lead him to challenge the gods themselves, starting with Beerus, whom he sees as the ultimate test of his power. In a climactic battle against the god of destruction, Kakarot's Super Saiyan 4 Rose form finally surpasses even divine beings, establishing him as a god of destruction in his own right. The Dark Conqueror's legacy. Kakarot, now known across the multiverse as the Dark Saiyan God, reigns supreme, feared by gods and mortals alike. In this reimagined universe, he continues to push his limits, driven by an unending thirst for power, his name a warning across dimensions. The tale of a Saiyan who defied even the gods and claimed his throne through sheer, relentless force.